So far in the series on the National Parks Passport Program, I have done an introduction to give a little bit of a high-level overview of the program. I then talked about the passport book, and the second video in the series went into the cancellation stamp. I will put a link in the description below to these other videos if you want to go out to find more information. So in today's video, which is part 3 in the series, I will be talking about the regional stamp, or the regional sticker as it's sometimes called. So basically it looks like a large postage stamp. It has a photograph of the national site as well as a description about it, and it also shows what region that particular park site falls into. And also, if you notice, there's a date here which I will talk about in a little bit. And here, if you notice, again, the colors, the cancellation stamp, as well as the little strip on the regional stamp, the title on the page, and the tab color are all the same to sync everything together. Starting back in 1986, the National Park Program started creating a stamp sheet. And what they include on is a stamp for each of the 9 regions. And they also include a national stamp, and I will explain that a little bit later in the video. As I have met and talked to people about the passport program, some say they take and put all of the stamps in their book as soon as they get them. I personally like to put the regional stamp in only when I visit a park. But it's your choice, there's no right or wrong. Now, there are also some parks that have had more than 2 stamps issued. For example, here, Ford's Theater in Washington, D.C., they had a stamp issued in 1983 and then in 2015. So I, fortunately, at the time had room in the book to put both stamps. But here's a tip. If you do not have room on this page, there's blank pages at the end where you can always add that second or additional stamps. Now, there are some parks that have not yet had a stamp issued for them. So what I do is I still get the cancellation stamp, and then I keep checking each year for that yearly annual sheet to see if that park has been released yet. Then I can add it at that time. Just in case you're curious as to which book I'm using, it is the Explorer Edition. I also put a link here in the description below, and if you want to find out more about this book and also the other book options, you can check out that video. And here is another tip, and this one comes from my sister. But if you visit the park and you purchase the sheet set, but you don't have your book with you or you don't use the book, inside the package with the sheet set there is this piece of paper. And if you take it and flip it over, it is blank on the other side. So you can use this to put cancellation stamps on. So to talk briefly about the national stamp, it is a stamp that they include on the sheet set. It's bigger in size than the regional stamps. And what they do is they use it to commemorate a particular park, or for example, maybe the National Park System. And in the book that I have, there's a section in the front where you can put these. So let's talk about now where you can buy the regional stamps. First place you can find them is at the visitor center or gift shop. And they usually carry the individual stamp for that park, or they carry the sheet set for that year that that park is featured on. And sometimes they will also carry the other years. So what I do is I carry a piece of paper with me which has on it the sheet sets that I need to get yet, and I keep this stored in my book. So when I'm visiting, if I find a couple of other years, I will pick up a couple at that time. So another place to find the regional stamps is at America's National Parks website. I'll put that link below. But if you select Passport to your national parks and go down to Passport Store, and then in here you can select either Passport single stickers, which bring up the individual stickers for a park, or there's the option to go to the stamp sets. And here's where for each year you can go to purchase that year's stamp set. And they also have here too an option of a bulk, buying all of the stamp sets. That goes back to 1987 and currently goes up to 2024. Now if you're wondering, how do I find the year that a particular park site is on? And that is very easy to do. If you go back out to America's National Parks here, and we'll go back to Passport Store, they have here a stamp sets parks featured alphabetically. So you can just go to this document, which I believe they update yearly, and you can look it up alphabetically to find the name of the site, and then it would tell you what year that stamp set contains that park. And also, they have another option here is under Passport Store, parks featured by year. You can actually see for a sheet, say example 2024, what regional stamps are included as well as the national stamp. So what I wanted to do is do a little cost breakdown if you were to look at per stamp price. So obviously if you're somebody who's just visiting a park now and then, or finances are allow only for maybe purchase of single stamps, then $2.95 per stamp is definitely the way to go. But if you're someone who has maybe visited a lot of parks in the past or planning to, I might want to consider either the stamp set, the yearly stamp set, or the bulk. They turn out to be 66 cents a stamp if you purchase the year, and then if you do the bulk one, they actually come out to be 45 cents a stamp. So I personally go with buying sheet sets, like I've mentioned earlier. When I go to a park, I will pick up that particular year that site is on, but I'll also pick up other years a couple at a time. So with this series on the National Parks Passport Program, I hope I have been able to answer some questions you had, maybe clear up some confusion, or inspire you to maybe look into participating in doing this program. Thank you so much for watching.